Namaste and welcome to Yoga in the Garden with me, Wendy, for this Backbend practice class. So today you will need a yoga strap. Now don't worry if you don't have a yoga strap. A skipping rope, a belt or anything long and strap-like is absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be a specific piece of yoga equipment. Anything will do. You can be as inventive as you like. Just place that strap near the side of your mat. We're going to start our practice today standing with our feet about shoulder width, relaxing your shoulders down by your side and softening your knees, letting your tailbone root down towards the floor, engaging a little bit of gentle engagement in the Mula Bandha in the belly region, lifting the pelvic floor, letting your shoulders become heavy, letting your arms drop down by your sides and your fingers curl in towards your palms. If you're comfortable to do so, you can allow your eyes to lightly close. Just take a moment or two to settle, to feel the earth beneath your feet, whatever ground you are on, whether it's a soft carpet or the grass, a yoga mat or a hard floor. Notice how your feet are connected to the ground beneath you. Notice how your body is feeling today. Where is there space? Where is there tension, physical tension? How does it feel for your breath to move in and out through your nostrils, in and out of your body? Let your attention gently rest on your thoughts. Just notice as if you are watching your thoughts play across a movie screen. Allowing each thought to pass, not getting involved, not judging, not criticizing, just observing each passing thought. That's hard. It's a hard thing to do. So if you do start to get caught up in any thoughts, then perhaps come back to noticing and observing your breath and your body. And just allow the thoughts to come and go. And now bring your awareness back to your breathing. Hopefully, or perhaps your breath will have started to just settle a little bit. And begin to lengthen and deepen each inhale and each exhale. As you inhale, start to expand, so start to press down into your feet, perhaps lifting your kneecaps, straightening your legs, lifting taller, lifting more upright. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders, stretch your fingers down towards the floor. Inhale, expanding in all directions. Exhale, feeling the crown of your head reaching higher. Inhaling, expanding in all directions. Forwards, back, up, down, sideways. Exhaling, equally deep, equally long, softening, finding a stillness. Perhaps starting now to bring Ujjayi pranayama into your breathing. So still continuing to breathe deep and full, but gently contracting the back of the throat to produce a raspy, throaty sound. It should just be audible to you. Your neighbours shouldn't be able to hear it. It's just a gentle, throaty sound. It's your guide, it's your victorious breath. Bring your palms together at your heart center. Feeling contact with the whole of the palm and every finger, all the way to the finger pads. And as you inhale, reach your arms upwards, keeping the palms pressing, and open your eyes. Stretch into your fingers, and as you exhale, we're going to bend over to one side. It doesn't matter which way we go. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, soften your knees. Bring your hands around behind you, interlace your fingers, and start to gently fold over your legs. Your hands might lift a little bit. Inhale, use your knuckles to lift you all the way up to stand. Release your arms, reaching up. Exhale, lean the other way. Inhale, come up to center. Exhale, release, stretch into your fingers. Really, really reach out through your fingers. Interlace your arms behind you. This time, take another inhale, pull your knuckles down towards the floor behind you. Roll your shoulder blades together and down, and as you exhale, soften your knees, spread your toes, and fold over your legs again. Let your head relax. So give your head a yes, no, no shake. Release your arms, take your arms out wide, bringing your fingertips down to the floor. And as you inhale, slide your hands up your legs towards your knees, just below your knees. Lift up to a flat back. Exhale, bend your knees more, slide your hands down your legs to your feet, fold over. Inhale, straighten the legs, hands up towards the knees, flat back. Exhale, bend the knees deeply, slide your hands down your legs, fold. Belly to thighs. One more, inhale, straighten the legs, slide your hands up your shins, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees deeply, stick your bottom out behind you and fold. Bring your hands all the way to the floor, so you might need to bend your knees a bit more. Just heel toe your feet a little bit wider, turn your toes out. Use your hands for support and guide yourself down to sit in a squat. We're not going to be here for long. We're going to reach the arms forward and bring your bottom to the floor, or you can use your hands behind you to lower your bum to the floor. Bring your feet out in front of you and come to lying down on your back. Extend both legs out straight. Bend your right knee. Interlace your hands around the front of the right shin and pull your right knee towards your chest. Then grab your strap and place the strap around the ball of your right foot. Take a side of the strap in each hand and straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling. Now you can hold the strap nice and long, so your elbows can almost be resting on the floor. You've got a long strap or a long rope. That's great. Relax your shoulders. The left leg is engaged, so the left thigh is heavy, pressing down into the floor. The left toes are flexing and spreading. And we're going to make some circles with this right leg, using our breath to guide. Maybe changing the angle like you point your toes, making your circles as big or as small as is appropriate for you. So if you feel clunking or grinding, perhaps make your circles smaller. Pressing your heel away from you, pulling your toes towards your shin. So we're waking up the hips, we're making up the abdominal muscles, the hamstrings, the calf, the ankle. Lovely. And then changing direction with your circles, keeping the left leg heavy. Still breathing. If you notice a sticky spot, so somewhere where it feels a little bit tight, don't rush past that spot. That's where you need to slow down. We often tend to ignore difficult situations and just rush straight past them. So the next time your leg comes up to center, you can let go of your strap, bend your knee, and pull your knee in towards your chest, either by wrapping your hands around the front of your shin or around the back of your thigh, squeezing the knee in towards the chest. Then take the left hand onto the right knee and the right arm out to the side. So this opposite hand reaches across to your knee. Your right shoulder is firmly grounded, connected to the floor. Use your left hand to lever your right leg across your body, coming into a semi-supine twist. The right shoulder stays connected to the floor, so it doesn't matter how far you go. You might turn your head to look over at your right hand. You're breathing deeply into your belly. Coming back to that sense of inhaling and expanding in all directions. Exhaling to soften. On an inhale, coming back to the center. Wrapping both hands around the shin or the back of the thigh again. Pulling the knee towards the right shoulder. Flex the right foot, flex the left foot. Take a deep breath in, and on an exhale, start to lift your head and lift your shoulders off the mat, bringing your right shoulder towards your right knee. Squeezing your tummy button back towards the floor behind you. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, lift your left leg to vertical. Squeeze your tummy muscles. Inhale, lower. Your heel might come all the way down to the floor, or it might hover. Exhale to lift. Inhale to lower. Keep those toes spreading. We'll do one more time. Exhale, lift. Keep extending out through your left heel. Inhale, lowering the left leg. This time lowering it all the way down to the floor. Letting your shoulders and your head drop back slowly. Take your right knee into your right hand and let your left up hand rest on your left thigh. Pressing the left thigh down towards the floor. Reminding that left thigh it is heavy, it's not going to lift. And then slowly let your right knee open out to the side. You can use your right elbow here as a rest on the floor and then rest your knee in your hand. Doesn't matter how far your knee opens. Try not to roll and let the left buttock lift. Try and keep this left buttock grounded. The left toes are active. Stretching and opening the hip. Relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. Seeing if you're able to smile. Breathing. On an inhale, bring your knee back into center. Extend your right leg all the way up to the ceiling again. This time bring both hands down by your sides. See if you can hold your right leg vertical, pressing into your heel, pulling your toes back to your shin. Relax your shoulders. Close your eyes and slowly, slowly, slowly lower your right leg to the floor. Move even slower. Keep extending out through your right heel. Relaxing your shoulders. And this is where the yoga magic happens. You might notice a difference between the left and the right leg, and you might even notice that the floor isn't quite where you thought it would be, or feels like it's not quite where you thought it would be. And eventually, there's no rush to get there, but eventually when your right heel reaches the floor, we repeat on the other side. So we bring the left knee in towards the chest. Just have a little hug, reaching the left knee towards the chest. And then grabbing your strap again. And placing the strap around the ball, not the arch, the ball of the left foot. Taking an end of the strap in each hand. If you've got a yoga strap, just be mindful that you're not going to clobber yourself in the eye with the D-ring bit. It's happened. And extend your left leg up into the air. Extend out through your heels, pull your toes back to your shin, relax your shoulders. Relax this grip that you've got on your strap. It's not going anywhere. And then with your breath, starting to circle your left leg, keeping the right hip, the right thigh grounded. Just checking in, comparing perhaps the left and the right side, but comparing without judgment and criticism, just noticing. Most of us tend to have a stronger side and a more flexible side. Because we do things habitually. And then changing direction, extending into the heel. Breathing deeply. This is my clunky side. And coming back up to center. Bending the knee, releasing your strap. Just have a little hug of the knee towards your chest, and then take the right hand onto the left knee. The left arm reaches out to the side. Use your right hand then to lever your knee across your body, keeping the left shoulder connected to the floor, maybe turning your head to look to your left. And again, breathing into your belly. A really lovely twist. You don't even have to get out of bed in the morning to do this twist. And yoga in pajamas is perfectly acceptable. And then breathe in, coming back to the center. Wrapping hands either around the front of the left shin or the back of the thigh if the knee doesn't like that. And gently pulling your knee towards your left shoulder. When you're ready, on an exhale, lift your shoulders and your head to look down at your right toes. So you're gazing down to the bottom of your mat. Tummy muscles are pulling backwards towards your spine. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, lift your right leg. Breathing in to lower. Breathing out, lifting. Inhale, lower, still extending through the heel. Exhale, one more time, lifting up. Inhale, lowering the right heel down to the floor, slowly lowering your shoulders and your head. Releasing your right hand onto the right thigh. The left hand stays on the left knee. The right hand reminds the right thigh that it's not going to lift. So the right hand isn't going to be strong enough to weight down the thigh, but it's that tactile reminder that the thigh is staying heavy. And then gradually let the left knee open out to the side. Maybe using the left hand as a support. If you've got blocks or cushions, and you can use those to support your knee or your foot or your shin. And I guarantee that every time you do this, it's going to feel different, it's going to look marginally different. Nothing stays the same. Not in this life anyway. And then inhaling, bringing the knee back into center. Taking one final hug. And then dropping your arms down by your sides. Extend your left leg up towards the ceiling, keeping the right foot flexed. Pull the left toes back towards the left shin. Close your eyes, relax your shoulders, and slowly, slowly, slowly lower the left leg down to the floor. Move slower. Slow, slow, slow. Keep breathing. And see if you can notice the magic on this side. If you feel it, you'll know what I mean. It's very cool. When you get there, just let your feet have a little relax and a wiggle. Take both arms out to your sides. We're going to do our flash dance bit now. So point your toes away from you. And we're going to squeeze our shoulder blades and our tummy muscles to lift up. As we do so, our hands are going to slide in towards each other. So on an inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades, squeeze your arms in towards you. Your hands are up behind you. So you end up in this position, lovely. Puffing up the chest, looking down at your pointed toes, and then turning your fingers to point backwards. We're going to bend the right knee now. Bring the right knee to face you all. Keep the hands behind you and bend the right knee out to the side. Then bend the left knee. Start again. Left and right. Bend the left knee. That's it. So the knee is pointing off to the left. Now bend the right knee so the right toes are pointing off to the right. Keep the left hand where it is. Reach your right arm straight up. The right buttock will lift off the floor as you turn your arm, turn your shoulder, wrap your shoulder around to the back of the mat. Maybe lower down onto your left elbow and reach your right hand out towards the back of the mat. Maybe stay on your right fingertips and look underneath your right shoulder. Breathing into the right rib cage. On an inhale, keep the left hand where it is. Press into that hand to lift the elbow off the floor. Reach the right arm up and bring your right hand around behind you. Straighten out the legs. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. We're going to take the knees off to the other side. So I'll come around this way so you see what it looks like. So this time we do bend the right knee. We bring the right knee off to the right. And we bring the left knee, the left thigh, in towards the right foot. The right hand stays where it is. The chest puffs forward. Left arm lifts up. Already my left glute is lifting off the floor. I wrap my left arm around, turning towards the back of your mat. Maybe lower down onto your right elbow, and then the left hand comes to the floor. My fingertips are on the floor, my palm is lifting, and I'm twisting sort of underneath my left armpit here as well. So my spine is making a spiral shape. And then breathing into the left rib cage. On an inhale, lift the left arm up, lift the right elbow. Straighten out the legs. Bring your hands around behind you again. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, puff your chest, point your toes. And then bring your hands, turn your hands around so your fingers point forwards. Your shoulder blades are still squeezing together behind you and your arms are still behind you. You can ditch the strap now. It's only going to get in the way. So fingers point forward, shoulder blades squeeze together. Bend your knees, bringing your feet hip width apart or a little bit wider than hip width apart. Feet flat to the floor. Knees point to the ceiling. On an inhale, press into your feet. Lift your hips, coming into a tabletop position, looking down towards your knees. Now keep your hips lifted for as long as you can and walk your hands forwards, taking your knees forward, coming over, bringing your hands around, coming into a squat at the front of the mat. And if it's comfortable to do so, you can let your heels drop. You might need to take your feet a little bit wider. That's fine. Bring your palms together, interlace all of your fingers apart from the index finger. This is Kali Mudra. And then point your index fingers down towards the floor. Let your head drop down towards the floor. Imagine there's a weight on your tailbone and there's a weight on the crown of your head. Stretching and lengthening your spine. I love this stretch if my back feels a bit tight. Nice deep breaths here. On an inhale, lift your head. Bring your hands onto your knees with your elbows pointing upwards. You might need to turn your fingers in, that's easier. And then take a deep breath in. Out and exhale, press into your feet, lift your hips, come into a little kind of half squat as if you're hovering your bottom. Straighten out your arms, lift your chest, get your bum out behind you. Exhale, round your back, lift your belly. Inhale, bottom out behind you, lift your chest, straighten your arms. So it's like a cat-cow. Exhale, round your back. Inhale, lift your chest, stick your bottom out. Exhale, round. One more round like this. Inhale. Exhale. As you after your exhale, slowly start to uncurl your spine, coming all the way up, stand, rolling your shoulder blades. Have a roll and a wiggle. Good. And then make sure your feet are now mat width apart with your toes pointing forwards. I'm going to start to bring in some standing postures, a little bit of balance and a little bit of flow. So toes pointing forwards. We're going to transfer the weight into our right foot. So bringing your palms together in Samasthiti or Anjali Mudra. Thumbs resting at the sternum. Tip the weight into the right foot and lift the left knee up in front of you. So it's a little bit of transfer of weight. On an exhale, bend the right knee and take a big step back with the left leg, clipping the left heel down. Nice deep bend in the right knee. Open up your arms. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Tailbone tucks under, right knee is over ankle, it's not falling in. Reaching out through the fingers. You stay where you are. I'm going to turn so I can demonstrate for you all. So my shoulders are stacked over my hips. My torso is spinning to the side of the mat and I'm reaching out through my fingers. Turn your palms upwards. On an inhale, straighten your front leg, bring your arms together, turn your head to look to the side of your mat. As you exhale, bend your right knee, look over your right hand. Open your arms. Inhale, straighten your right leg, palms up, look to the side of your mat. Exhale, bend the right knee, open the arms, look over your right fingers. One more time. Inhale, straighten the right leg, bring palms together. Exhale, sink. Warrior 2. Take the left hand down the left leg, right arm reaches up. Inhale, reverse warrior, flowing. Right elbow to right knee, left arm lifts. Inhale, taking the left arm back, right arm lifts up. Exhale, coming forward, making sure you're not gripping with your front toes. One more. Inhale, left hand back, right arm reaches up. Exhale, right elbow to right knee, left arm reaches up or up and over. Inhale, come back into your Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze over your right fingers. Sink into your warrior. Find your calm, ease and strength in your posture. Breathing deeply. And one more breath. And then bring your hands to your heart as you exhale. Look to the front of the mat and imagine there's a great big wall in the middle of your yoga mat. And you've got to step over that wall to get to the front with your left leg. So we're going to step into our right foot, lift our left leg out to the side and step it down. Lovely. In my head that looks great, much more graceful than it does on the camera. So both feet are on the edge of the mat, palms at the chest. We're going to do the same sequence on the other side. So take the weight into the left foot, take the weight over, lift the right knee. Find your drishti. Bend the left knee and on an exhale, step the right foot back gracefully into Virabhadrasana 2. The right toes are turning slightly forward, the arms extend out. You stay where you are, I'll face this way. Inhale, straighten the left leg, palms touch above the head. Exhale, bend the left knee, look over your left hand, extend your arms wide. Inhale, straighten, palms touch, turn to your head to the side. Exhale, look over your left fingers. One more time, inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bending the knee, gazing over your left fingers. Right hand back, inhale, left arm lifts. Exhale, left elbow to knee, right arm comes up and over. Inhale, use your breath. Exhale, left elbow to knee, right arm up. One more time backwards, right arm back, inhaling, left arm lifts. Exhale, left elbow to left knee, right arm lifts up or up and over. Inhale back into your warrior two. Virabhadrasana two, stretching out through your fingers. Making sure you're not gripping with your toes, give them a wiggle. Pulling your right hip back, making sure your left knee doesn't fall in. On an exhale, bring your hands to your heart. Look to the front of the mat, and there's that giant wall again. So you've got to step over that wall with your right foot. Take the weight into your left foot. Right foot comes out to the side. And you slowly step the right foot to the outside of the mat. Heel toe your feet to hip width apart. Bring your hands around behind you. Point your fingertips down your back and use your hands to press your glutes down towards the floor, to tuck your tailbone under. Roll your shoulder blades down back and squeeze your elbows and your shoulder blades together behind you. Lift your sternum. So what we're not doing here is we're not poking our belly forward like that, bending the knees. We're keeping hips over ankles and we're simply lifting our sternum upwards, bending the upper back. Lifting the chin slightly if it feels okay on the neck, and breathing in a standing back bend. Softening. One more inhale. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Keep your shoulder blades squeezing together and imagine you're melting forwards. Coming into a forward fold, you let your hands relax to the floor, you let your head relax to the floor. Bring your right hand across to the outside of your left foot, left ankle or left shin. Straighten your left leg and bring your left hand onto your left hip. Bend the right knee deeply. Now before we go any further into our twist, just have a feel on your sacrum, so the lower back. Use your left hand to feel that your lower back is flat. What might happen here is that your right hip might drop down and come forward. So can you lift your right hip, even though your right knee, right hip? Keep the hips parallel and level. Slowly start to lift the left elbow, the left shoulder, and maybe turn the head. Maybe lift the left arm, lifting belly to spine. Reaching crown of the head forwards. Breathing. Beautiful, you've got it. Each time you inhale, reach. Exhale, bend both knees. Bring your left arm across. Wrap your left arm around your right ankle and use your hands to pull your chest towards your thighs. Make sure your knees don't knock in. Keep them pointing out over your toes. Slowly lifting the chest. Keep the left hand attached to the left side of the foot, ankle or shin. Bring the right hand onto the right hip. Straighten the right leg and start to lift the right shoulder, right elbow. Before you go any further, have a feel again on your lower back. Lift the left hip. Lift the belly, lift the crown of the head forwards, and then turn your head to look up to the ceiling. If it feels okay at your neck, if you're happy, you can reach your right hand up. Extend the crown of the head forward, extend the tailbone backwards. Nice deep ujjayi breaths. Look down to the floor, soften both knees, wrap your right arm in front of your left, hold onto your ankles and fold. If you can lift your belly away from your thighs, if you're familiar with Uddiyana Bandha, You're welcome to bring that practice in here. If not, don't worry, just breathe deeply, squeezing your tummy muscles. Release your hands to the floor. This time we're going to have fingertips onto the floor as we inhale, straighten the legs, lift the crown of the head forwards. Exhale, bend the knees really, really deeply, fold in, belly rests on thighs. Inhale, straighten the legs, crown of the head forwards, flat back. Exhale, bend your knees, fold. Inhale, straighten your legs, crown of the head forward, flat back. This time, bend your knees, turn your toes out and come down all the way down into your Malasana squat again. Finding your comfortable position in your squat. So some of you might find it's easier to take your feet a little bit wider if your ankles aren't too happy with it. If you need to, you can roll up a yoga mat or a blanket, put them under your feet if your heels don't come down to the floor, or you're welcome to have your bottom on the floor and your feet flat. I know this one is not always easy. So we're going to take a twist here. So knees and ankles are pointing in this, knees and toes are pointing in the same direction. We bring the right arm inside the right knee and reach your hand to the floor. Your left elbow can press into the left knee and press the left knee outwards. Please do stay here if that feels appropriate. If you feel your left knee is just going to not drop inwards, use your left elbow to press the left knee out and turn to look over your left shoulder. Some of you might reach your left arm up, imagining you're opening your arms up to give someone a great big hug. We'll be able to do that soon, I'm sure. And then plenty of hugs from me. And then if you want to, if you're a binder, you take your right arm around your right leg and roll your left arm around behind and see if you can find your own fingers. And it looks, don't do this, but it looks like that. Turning your chest towards the ceiling and release. I know your hips and your ankles are probably talking to you, so you'll get straight to the other side. Left shoulder inside the left knee. Press your left hand out to the side to open your left knee. Maybe you use your right elbow to keep the right knee open. Maybe your right arm lifts up. Maybe you're a binder. Reaching hands around and holding onto your fingertips or your wrists or your strap. If you've got your strap to hand still, use it. Never be afraid to use a prop. And then slowly turn your head back to the front. Release any binds you may have. Reach your arms forward, round your back, pull your belly button to your spine, and see if you can lower your bottom to the floor without rolling too far back. Extend your legs out. Cross your legs at your shins. Have a wiggle. Hold on to your feet. Now, you have two options. We're going to move forwards into a plank. So if you want to, you're welcome to follow me or find your way into a plank that's comfortable for you if you have knee issues. We're going to lift up onto our sit bones, pull our feet towards our bottom and rock ourselves forwards into a plank. So hands come down, step or jump back into a plank. Crown of the head reaches forwards, shoulders over wrists, tummy muscles lifting. Now normally here we lower down to chaturanga, but for now we're going to really engage the tummy muscles, bring the knees down to the floor and slowly untuck the toes and let the hips drop, keeping shoulders away from ears. Now bending your elbows as much as you need to. So some of you might be down here if it's strong on your back. Some of you might come up into a full bhujangasana, rolling shoulder blades together and back, but listen to your body. Backs of the feet are pressing into the floor. You're breathing into the space under your collarbones. Smiling with your collarbones. Press up through to all fours. Take a deep breath in, lift your belly, lift your chest. As you exhale, round your back. Inhale. Let your belly dip, lift your tailbone, lift your chest. Exhale, rounding. One more time, Marjarasana. Inhale, lift tailbone, lift chest. Exhale, round. Excellent. Come to a neutral spine now. So the backs of the feet are pressing into the floor, keeping hips over knees and coming down onto your elbows. We're going to come into a posture called Anahatasana here. So backs of the feet are still pressing into the floor, and that sends some engagement up the thighs into the lower pelvic floor region. Mula bandha, lower abdominal muscles must be contracted here. Protect your lower back. Nice. Now this is why some of you might stay, maybe sticking your bottom up towards the ceiling and letting your chest drop a little bit, keeping those pelvic floor muscles lifted, with your elbows down and your forehead relaxing. If your shoulders are happy, you can take your arms out a little bit wider than your shoulders and let your chest and chin drop down towards the floor. If that's too strong, have your forehead down on the floor, keeping your hips stacked over your knees. There's the vicious guard dog. Inhaling, lifting up, walking your hands in under your shoulders. Hopefully you will continue to breathe then, or he certainly frightened you back into breathing. So bring your hands under your shoulders, have a little wiggle, a little shake out. And we're going to come into a little flow, another little flow now. So tuck your toes under, both sets of toes. Hips stay over knees. On an inhale, lift up to a high kneeling position. So hips are over knees, shoulders are over hips. Lift your right arm up, and as you exhale, send your right hand down towards your right heel. Press your hips forwards, lift your left arm up. Ardha Ustrasana. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower the left hand to the floor and dive your right hand underneath, landing your right shoulder right side of the head to thread the needle. Inhale, unthread the needle. Take your right arm back to your right heel. Lift your left arm. We're going to flow this. Exhale, left hand to the floor, right arm dives through, right shoulder to the floor, right side of the head. Inhale, lift up, last one. Right arm comes back, left arm lifts. Hips press forward. Exhale. Left hand to the floor. Right hand dives through. Right shoulder, right side of the head to the floor. Inhale. Right arm lifts. Left arm lifts. Right hand to right heel. And we're going to take a breath in a half camel pose with the right arm back. Left arm lifts up. And then lower both hands back down to the floor. Have a stretch, have a wiggle. And let's do the same on the other side. So re-tap your toes if they've snuggled, snuffled, moved out of position. Great. So keeping knees over hips, lift up to a high kneel position. Lift the left arm. Lower the left hand to the left heel, reach the right hand up, inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down, left arm dives underneath the right, landing the left shoulder, left side of the head. Inhale, press into the right hand. Left arm lifts up and back to the left heel, right arm lifts up, hips press forwards. Exhale, right hand to the floor, under the shoulder, left hand dives under, thread the needle. Inhale, left arm comes up and back to the left heel, right arm reaches up. You've got this, well done, it's complicated. One more time. Right hand to the floor, left hand dives under, thread the needle. Keep your brains active. Inhale, left arm reaches up and over behind you, and we're going to stay in our Ardha Ustrasana, pressing both hips forwards, reaching the right arm up, lifting through the pelvic floor, Mula bandha. Inhale, this time bring your hands back together and come to your high kneel position, making sure those toes are still tucked under. This is a favourite of mine, so those of you that come to my classes will know I love a toe stretch. So we're going to slowly, with the toes tucked under, all 10 toes, so you might need to reach around for those pesky little ones. Slowly lower our bottom onto our heels. Now, if this is really too much for you, you can bring your weight forward and use your hands to support you a little bit. Or you can stay here, letting the weight drop down through your toes. You can rest your hands on your lap, close your eyes, you can bring your palms together at your heart. Whatever feels appropriate and comfortable for you. Taking a few breaths here. So there's a theory that this posture is very good for insomnia. And I have been told by my students, after a very toe stretchy class, that they will sleep well. Maybe I worked them hard that night, I'm not sure. Taking one or two more breaths. Seeing if you can let go of the sensation. And then if you close your eyes, opening your eyes, bringing your weight forwards and perhaps gently tapping out the backs of your feet a little bit. Well done, everyone. Bringing the blood flow back into your feet. Let's come up into a down dog because we haven't been there yet today. So bring your hands a little bit further forward of your shoulders. Tuck your toes under again, but we're not going to be there for very long. Take your hips up and back and lift up into a downward facing dog. Just take a moment to settle in your dog. Roll your armpits towards each other. Find some stillness, find some depth to your breath. And on an inhale, lift your right leg up into the air behind you. As you exhale, bring your right knee to rest behind your right wrist and send your right toes off to the left side of your mat. Lower your left knee down and send your left leg backwards so your hips start to drop down. Now, if this posture, pigeon pose, isn't for you because of knee problems, quick demo, you can lie on your back, cross your right knee, cross your right ankle over your left knee in a figure four stretch. And breathe there. It's the same pose, you just haven't got all the weight of your whole body dropping down onto your knee joint. For those of you in this variation of the posture, make sure you have a little bit of flexion in your right ankle. So press the back of your foot into the floor, activate your toes. That engages the calf muscle, the gastrocnemius muscle, which in turn protects the knee joint. Let your hips drop. I know I've been talking at you, but that's the whole point of this posture. Slowly lower down onto your elbows if it feels appropriate, or a block or a cushion. Some of you might absolutely think, oh, this is my favourite posture in the whole entire world. And you might take your elbows out to the side and let your forehead rest on your hands or even down to the floor. Settling in Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, one-legged king of the pigeons. Relax your shoulder, relax your jaw. Lift your head slightly. We're going to take a twist now. So we're going to take the left arm and slide the left arm underneath the right. Just like before, so we thread the needle. We land the left shoulder on the floor or a block and the left side of the head on the floor or a block. It might feel like, oh, that's too much. If it does feel too much, come back into your normal pigeon pose. If it's all right, you get more of a stretch down the right glute, right thigh. If it's okay, you can have your right hand in front of your face for support on your right hip or your lower back. Some of you might reach your right hand all the way around behind you. See if you can find your toes. Now it's the toes that are tucked underneath you. A lot of people, when I say this, they try and find the toes on the leg that is extended out behind them, but it's the toes of your right leg, so your right toes that are underneath you. And then you press into your left shoulder to turn your chest towards the ceiling, and I can feel that in my glute. My kids have had me doing squats. And then gently release any binds that you've had. Bring your right hand back down to the floor. Unthread your left arm. Lift yourself up and then lower your weight onto your right sit bone. Now, if you are in your supine variation of your pigeon, bring yourself into this position. Now, so come to sitting up with your right foot resting against the inside of your left thigh. So from a pigeon, you swing your left leg around. Let the right knee be heavy. Turn your torso towards your left leg, left toes are active. Lift the right hand up towards the ceiling and then bend your right elbow. Use your left elbow perhaps to coax your right elbow up to the midline. You can stay here for Gomukhasana, variation arms, or if you want to, you can see if you can reach and stretch into your left fingers and then find your right fingers behind you. If you can't find your fingers, you've got a strap to hand, so use it. Return your belly to your left leg. Let your right leg relax, so the right knee relax. Lift the right elbow, and as you exhale, gently see if there's any give and any fold. Making sure your right elbow isn't pushing your head down. So keep the right elbow lifting, almost away from the back of your head, reaching up and forwards. Coming into a variation of Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. Now, we're not able to round our spines here, so it's quite telling. Keep turning your belly towards your left thigh. Keep breathing. And then inhale to lift. Release your arms. Bring your right hand out behind you. Sweep your left arm up in front of you. Lift your hips. Kamakarasana. And exhale. Lower your bottom to the floor. Cross your legs again. Lift your feet. Roll over your feet and step back. Straight back this time into down dog. Settling in your down dog. Lifting your hips up and back. Relaxing your head. And then lifting your left leg up into the air behind you. Exhale, bring the left knee to the left wrists and the left foot across to the right side of the mat. Lower your right knee down and slide your right leg backwards. Sink into your pigeon, and if you need to, come to lying down on your back. Perhaps your left knee doesn't like this posture, but your right knee might have done, so that's absolutely fine. Slide down, relax your shoulders. Breathe, settle. And then maybe, if it feels appropriate, you come down onto your elbows. Maybe you're happy here. Maybe you need to come higher again and rest on a block. Maybe you splay your elbows and rest your forehead on your hands or the floor. Just take a few breaths there. I'm going to turn the light on while we do. You can see me again. Find your stira and your sukha, your steady, your comfort. Find your asana, your seat. What does this posture mean for you? What does it do for you? How does it make you feel? And we're going to now come into our twist. So lift your torso, maybe come up onto your elbows or even your hands. Slide your left hand forward a little bit. Take your right arm now and slide your right arm all the way under your left, landing your right shoulder perhaps on the block or perhaps on the floor, right side of the head. If you get there and you think, oh gosh, no, that's not for me, please do come back out of it. It is stronger. You might be able to put your left hand on your low back, lifting your left shoulder, pressing into your right. And some of you might find your toes poking out underneath you and grab hold of your left toes with your left hand. This one messes with everyone's head when I teach it. Back to your Ujjayi breath. release the foot. Bring your left hand down to the floor in front of you. Press into that hand. And if you've been lying in a supine position on your back in your figure 4, now's the time to come up and join us in our Janu Shirshasana. So for those of you here, you're going to rock your weight onto your left hip. Bring your right leg around in front of you and bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh, letting the left knee be heavy. Right toes are active. Turn your belly towards your right leg. Lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. Bend your left elbow this time. Use your right hand to literally pick up your left elbow, pick it up and move it across to the midline. Then reach your right hand out. Stretch, stretch, stretch into your fingers. Create length and then see if you can find your own fingers, not your ponytail. This side is my trickiest side. We've all got one side that's harder than the other. Turn your belly towards your right thigh and maybe fold your Shirsha to your Janu. Flexing your right foot, lifting the left elbow, pulling the right shoulder back and breathing. Inhale, lift all the way up to seated, relax your arms. Give them a wiggle, give them a stretch, a little wave, and cross your legs. Bring your hands over the front of your knees and just do a few little spinal rolls. Stretching your shoulders, stretching your back, getting some space into any of the tight spots, just moving around freely now. We're going to start to wind down our sequence, but with one final posture for our peak posture today. And that is Urdhva Dhanurasana or Chakrasana bow pose. So some of you today are going to work quite simply, and that's absolutely fine. I'm going to move so you can all see me. Feet, heels are as close to your bottom as you can get them. Back is in contact with the floor. Now some of you are going to reach your hands up towards the ceiling, bend your elbows so your fingers point backwards, palms up to the ceiling, and then see if you can touch your fingertips to the floor without letting your elbows splay out to the side. Now for those of you who come to my classes, you know I am a very fond of wrapping straps around elbows, so there is the threat of that for another class, but just try to keep your own elbows from pointing straight up as opposed to splaying out to the sides. For those of you that can, you might be able to point your fingers back in again towards your body with your elbows pointing up towards the ceiling. Spread your hands out, maybe lift up onto your toes. When you're ready, if you want to, you can come up into your Urdhva Dhanurasana, your wheel pose. So lifting your hips, coming up onto the crown of your head, and then pressing into your arms. Once you're up, you can lower your heels and press your chest forwards. Some days it's easier than others. Making sure your knees don't splay out as well. Breathing. It's hard to talk. Lifting up onto your toes. Bending your elbows. Lowering the crown of the head to floor. Sliding chin to chest. And lowering your back down to the floor. Now, if you have time and you want to, feel free to pause the video and practice that a couple of times. If you have a strap, you can make a loop with a strap and practice it with a strap wrapped around just above your elbows so your elbows don't splay out to the sides. Otherwise, feet to the floor, and we're just going to roll our pelvis around on the floor, lower back. Making circles, I don't know if you can see, making circles with your hips. It's like you were salsa dancing and changing direction with those circles. So you're massaging out the whole of your lower back and pelvis. Just getting a little bit of a release before we go into a deeper counter pose. We don't want to shock our bodies in any way. And then bring one knee towards one armpit and the other knee towards the other armpit. Just have a simple little sway from side to side. And then place your feet down on your mat, a little bit wider than hip width apart. Take your arms out to the side and let both knees drop over to the right. Pick up your right foot if it feels appropriate. Put your right foot on top of your left knee. And that pulls the left knee a little bit closer to the floor. If it feels too strong, bring your right foot back down to the floor. Just deepens the twist. Maybe turn your head to look at your left hand, but keep the shoulders grounded. We've warmed up the spine, so this twist should feel quite juicy, quite nice. And then gently release your right foot from your knee. Bring your knees back into the midline. Perhaps pick up your hips and have a little sway with your hips from side to side. And then lower your hips down and let your knees drop over to the left. And again, if it feels appropriate for you right now, you can lift your left foot up and place the left foot on the outside of the right knee to draw the right knee towards the floor. Maybe turn your head to look at your right hand. And breathe. I've got my assistant coming to join me for the final part of practice. And then slowly release your left foot from your knee. Bring your knees back into the centre. Maybe have another swish with your hips. If you have a dog licking your face, it might not be quite so appropriate. And then lower your hips to the floor. Bring your knees into your chest. Lift your head towards your knees. Have one final knee hug and a rock and a roll. Lower your head back down to the floor. Take your knees wide. Reach your arms inside your legs and hold onto your feet. Press your tailbone down to the floor and have a little happy baby. Ananda Balasana. Rocking from side to side, massaging out your low back. Oh, that feels nice. Those babies got it right. And when you're ready to, I'd like you all to make your way into your variation of Shavasana today. So whether that be lying down on your back with a bolster underneath your knees, or lying flat on the floor, getting blankets, getting jumpers and socks, making yourself warm, making yourself comfortable. And taking your time to get there, to settle into the floor. And when you get there, just allow yourselves to let go. Let go of all tension in your body. Let go of all the tension in your mind. Whatever has come up emotionally from the practice, allow it to come, and then allow it to be transformed, to be washed away by the floor. Let the earth absorb that emotion and take it away for you. Let it deal with it for you. And start to relax your whole body now. Relax your toes, soles of your feet, tops of your feet. Relax your ankles, shins, calves. Soften your knees. Relax your thighs, your hips, buttocks. Feel a lightness in your fingertips. Feel space in the palms of your hands, your wrists. Relax your forearms, soften your elbows. Relax your upper arms and let your shoulders melt into the floor. Letting go. Being supported. Feel the muscles either side of your spine soften and yield to the support of the floor. Notice the space between each vertebra, from your tailbone, your lumbar spine, your thoracic spine, your neck. Relax the whole of your head. Relax your face, relax your chest, your belly, your whole body is relaxed. Your whole body is relaxed. And slowly begin to let your senses awaken, listening to the sounds around you, listening to the sounds of your own body, your own breath. Can you feel your own heartbeat? Can you feel the sensation of the blood running through your veins? You are alive. You are healthy. You are open to possibility. Now, when you feel ready to, you can start to stretch, wiggle, breathe a bit deeper. And in your own time, gradually make your way up to a comfortable seated position. There's no rush to get there. Perhaps roll onto your side and rest for a moment. Listen to the sounds of the chimes. Once we're all sitting upright again, in any comfortable seated position with a nice long tall upright spine, bring your palms together at your heart, your open heart. Take a deep breath in and bow in gratitude to yourselves and to the amazing practice that you've just done. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste. Now, if anyone would like to follow the YouTube channel, I'm trying to add a couple of videos a week, a child family friendly video and then a more advanced adult video, grown up video that involves following more advanced instructions. I'm going to be doing some gentle yoga as well as some more challenging postures. And I do have plenty of props here in my studio in Exeter, so if any of you would like to borrow any mats or bolsters or blocks or straps, please do send me a message on Facebook or Instagram, or if you've got my number, send me a text, and we can arrange a socially distanced drop off. They are all clean now, they've all been through the washing machine, so all raring to go. If you liked these, most beautiful sounds in the world, these are my Koshi chimes, and these ones are the water elements, and they are the most soothing, relaxing sound. So thank you for practicing with me, and I'll see you all again soon. Namaste.